Hey everybody, I'm JimClassic and you are watching Geekin. And for today's video, I would like to talk about the Masters of the Universe Masterverse Roboto figure. Now, I got this guy in September, about a month or so before the tariffs kicked in. But regardless, I still would like to talk about this figure right now, see what he's all about, because, you know, he's still on the shelves. I want to know if he's really worth it. I don't know yet, because I haven't opened him. But anyway, enough of this. Let's do what we normally do and start with the box. Starting with the box, as we always do, we see, well, a windowed package here of Roboto. We see the toy in there. It's a kind of a smaller windowed package, but, you know, hey, that's okay. As long as we can still see the figure and thieves can't get into it, I'm okay with it. Of course, we have this really nice artwork of Roboto with his axe, or I guess it's a saw blade now, his laser cannon, Masters of the Universe, new Eternia Roboto, 30 points of articulation, you know, and again, that artwork is just looking fantastic. Now, moving on to the side, it's kind of a wraparound. You see Skeletor there with I don't know, rock monsters. I guess Roboto is battling rock monsters. Move it over to the other side of the box, and you see Roboto standing there with a weapon and his fist. And looks like we're getting two different head sculpts. And once we turn around to the back, we see, for a fact, there are going to be two different head sculpts. And look at that product shot right there. And this background is looking pretty cool. It would be really cool if Mattel is doing what Hasbro did with the Studio Series line and just giving us a background with these figures. I wouldn't mind seeing this kind of a retro artwork in there. But again, we have the available now King Randor, Roboto, and Beastman. Even though Roboto is the only one I've seen out of this bunch so far, and I have only seen one Roboto. I guess he's flying off the shelves. I don't really know. Skeletor stole away with Man-at-Arm's latest creation, Roboto. Using his diabolical havoc magic, Skeletor reprograms the artificial intelligence to do his evil bidding. Now, I don't remember this being part of Roboto's origin stories. Maybe it is. To be perfectly honest, I don't even remember seeing Roboto in the old He-Man cartoon. So, it's probably in the mini comics. I just don't know enough about Roboto's lore. I don't really need to know. I just think he's a cool looking robot. Anyway, that's enough about the package. Let's open this guy up and see what he is all about. So, now that we've got Roboto out of the package, I gotta say, pretty good first impression so far. Now, this is not a one-to-one version of Roboto that we would see in, like, the original Masters of the Universe or the Origins. You know, this is the new Eternia version, so there are some similarities and there are some differences. First off, when it comes to similarities, the color palette is pretty much the same for the most part. You got like the clear body there, you got the blue arms, and this is a nice metallic paint or plastic. I think these are unpainted, so this is a nice metallic plastic right there. You got the red leggings with the silver future boots, and I believe the thigh pads are normally silver, but these are kind of a brownish color. You got the pink Robo undies. I think Roboto normally has red hands, but they just kind of kept the silver from the arms, which, you know, again, I'm not complaining. This is, you know. Another difference that they did with Roboto was they gave him a clear head instead of painting it silver like like your traditional Roboto. So basically the entire torso and the head are all clear plastic. Now, clear plastic, we have discussed this before with Transformers. If you're a Transformers collector, you know this. Clear plastic can be a little bit more brittle than your, opaque plastic. And it probably has something to do with the fact that it's clear. I don't really know the chemistry behind it, but clear plastic tends to be more brittle. Time has proven that over and over again, so we shall see. And believe me, I'll be discussing this again later on in the video. But you do see some nice robo details. Like you see his robot brain right there. You see the robot gears in the body, and it does have a cool feature. See, in the original Roboto, if you twisted the waist left to right, the gears would move. That was the gimmick. That was for the original toy. I believe that was for the Origins toy. It was for the Classics. This was a little bit different. The gears still move on this guy, which is always a fun feature. I really do love this. I get a kick out of it. But it's done here on the back. There's this little wheel, which has a strange port, which I thought this little port might have a function, but so far I can't seem to figure it out or know what it is. But yeah, you spin that and you get the gear movement, and a really, really cool feature. Now, again, with the old Roboto, if you twisted him left and right, the jaw would open and close. That is no longer a feature here. I mean, you can kind of open and close the jaw a little bit, but it's not really intended for that. But he does have a nice range of motion, like just about every one of the Masterverse figures do. Fully rotated arms, can go out that far. Looks like he can pull a double bend at the elbow, of course, but with those robo muscles and everything, it's limited. You can't get more than that. But this is it's more than 90 degrees, so we do have a wrist rotation, and this is like the peg inside the wrist is definitely some kind of a soft ratchet, because you can feel it lock into place every time you move it. It can't really abduct that far, but it can flex down a lot better than it can go up. We do have the waist rotation, as previously mentioned. Oh, I did forget to mention, he does have a ball jointed head, so he can look up that high. He can look down. He can kind of shake his head little by little to a full 360. And he does have ball joints in the hips, so he can kick up that high. He can't kick back all the way because of the robo butt, but he does have a thigh swivel right there. It's a bit tight, but double joint at the knee right there. And since he's a robot, this unnatural look right there, look at him dancing. He's dancing. Okay. Anyway, this knee bend right here, it's a little unnatural, but he's a robot. We're gonna let that slide. I do believe, he does have a shin swivel, and again, Roboto's a robot, so you know what? We're not gonna complain. He does have a good foot point right there. He can flex up, and he does have a really good ankle pivot. And good range of motion. And the other thing is that I really like about Roboto here is that he is all original parts. I mean, he's one of the few Masters of the Universe figures to not just be a simple palette swap. He is all original parts because he's a robot. It's not like they took Faker here. He's pretty much 95% 40th anniversary He-Man, except with the robo bits on the chest. No, he is all original parts, which is always fun to see. Now, another interesting thing about Roboto that I gotta point out here is, you can see Roboto's beady little Cylon eyes right there, and which is a bit unusual because normally he just has a blue visor. I've actually never seen a Roboto with eyes. This is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit off-putting. But he does come with accessories, of course. You know Roboto's accessories. He's got the claw arm, he's got the gun arm, he's got the axe. Well, Mattel is doing a little something different here with this particular figure. Roboto does come with the gun, the claw, and the axe, but he also comes with a different jaw. Yeah, you can remove this jaw. Now, I'm not a big fan of how you remove it, because I feel like I'm bending the plastic too much. But, you get the jaw kind of... Oh, of course it's going to fight me now. On camera, it's going to put up a fight. There we go. You dig your nail in there. So yeah, gotta dig your nail in there, and then I gotta get it off on this side too. And I'm not comfortable doing that, because look how deep these pegs go. These pegs go into the jaw pretty deep. So I gotta bend the plastic, and I obviously if I do it too much, it's just gonna be wear and tear. So we take the jaw off. We're gonna put another one on, but let's turn around. Let's see what Roboto looks like. And oh my God, he's got a Terminator mouth. That is not something I was expecting to see in Roboto. He does not need to be a T1800 or right a T800. Yeah, he does not need to be a T800. Okay, but anyway. So this other jaw right here, I guess, again, it's got the same type of pegs. So you gotta, again, warp the plastic. You gotta kind of bend it out of its natural state and kind of just, get it in there. There we go. Got on that. All right, there. All right, now here is Roboto's other jaw. Now, I believe this is his, I guess, evil jaw, I suppose. I mean, like, according to the bio, Skeletor somehow reprograms Roboto into being evil. So I guess this is his evil Roboto. I don't really know. I don't remember evil Roboto being part of his lore. But again, I don't know why. For a guy who is obsessed with robots, I know virtually nothing about Roboto. Like I said, I don't even know if he was in the old Filmation cartoon. Like, I don't have every episode memorized, and I don't remember ever seeing him. But anyway, this is his evil jaw, and it does have some cutaways in there, so you can see the Terminator mouth. What purpose this serves is a mystery. I guess it just makes him look a little bit meaner. Actually, that okay, that is a bit frightening. This lifeless automaton just staring back at you. All right, no, that's a little unsettling. Anyway, so yes, our traditional Roboto, you would remove the right. Actually, I think original Roboto didn't even have a right hand. It was just gun, axe, claw. In recent years, Roboto has been gifted a right hand, but what we can do is we can take off the right hand. We can also take off the left hand. And now he's got no hands. But we'll start with the laser gun, because I've always liked it. This is definitely a departure from your traditional Roboto laser gun. Normally he has got like a double-barreled gun with... Actually, he does have like a clip or something hanging down, so that kind of checks out. And it does kind of have a fin, so... yeah, it kind of, sort of resembles the Roboto gun, except it is a single barrel blaster and not a double barrel blaster. Put it right there, and just for the heck of it, we'll do the claw. We'll put the claw on the left hand. There we go. All right, so Roboto's got the gun right there. He can kind of fire it. Maybe it's a flamethrower. Maybe these are canisters of liquid, of fuel, of ignition fuel. I don't know. And then it's got the cool Robo Claw right here, and it does articulate. It can close and open right here. The top one does not move, but the bottom one does. So that's always cool. Of course, you can rotate it. The gun can rotate. Now, the other weapon. We'll take the gun off. And we're going to give him the axe. And it is no longer an axe. It is a buzzsaw. Look at this thing. I guess it could still count as an axe, because that's sort of how the axe looked. I think it was just a single blade. I think it was a single axe blade. But this is fun. This is an interesting update. Instead of, just a spinning saw blade of death. And yeah, this looks pretty vicious, and it looks like it could tear you up. It even has nicks in the blade right there. A couple of imperfections on all four of the blades right there. So this thing looks like it can cut you up, and quite effectively. This thing, I mean, he's a robot. He doesn't care if you live or die. He'll slice you up. You're just meat to him. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm having a lot of fun with this. So yeah, Roboto has got some neat accessories, and these are fun updates. I mean, even look at some of the robo details there on the arms. Like, it's got that cool little pump. You got this metallic blue right here, and you got this metallic sky blue right there. It's mostly the accessories and the face, which are probably the biggest changes that Mattel made. So a quick comparison to the new Eternia, to the classics, and the Revelation Roboto. Here we have 3 different versions of Roboto. Now, this is a more traditional version of Roboto, as seen in the original toy. Here we have the one seen in Revelation, which is definitely more of a stylized version of Roboto. I do like him, but I'm very frustrated with this figure. I'm very frustrated with this figure, too. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is a fine update, and obviously we can see the similarities to the Classics version a little bit more than we can see the similarities to this guy. This is more heavily armored. It has less greeblies. This guy is all about the greeblies, and this guy is all about the greeblies. But I just want to talk about something real quick. Sidebar here. Clear plastic. And taking my Classics Roboto out for the review, I decided to fiddle with him for a minute. Now, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the gimmick was you rotate the chest, and the gears, you know, are supposed to move. And I don't know if you can see the gears moving, maybe a little bit, but I made kind of a sad discovery. The clear plastic on this Roboto, and I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but the clear plastic is broken at this waist joint. In fact, I just saw a piece of clear plastic flying around back there behind the yellow gear. But oh, hold on. Let's get this on camera before something bad happens to it. I've always liked that. I've always loved the gear function. But anyway, it got to the point where my Roboto just split right in half the minute I took him out of the bin. Oh, see, clear plastic is just kind of falling right off of this thing. And that is unfortunately that's time. I don't know how to explain it, but you know, that is the clear plastic deteriorating in front of my face. And mind you, I've had this guy since, I don't know, 2012, 2011. And for the most part, he has either been standing on a shelf or sitting in a bin, safe and sound. And, you know, I'm 45 years old. I don't really play with these figures. I just kind of take them out, do that, and then put them back on the shelf. So, you know, it's not like this Roboto has gotten rough play, you know? I've just taken them out, fiddle around with them, and that's it. But yeah, oh, and there he goes. Yeah, now I'm just gonna, you can just pop right back on, and you know, but you can see right there, it got brittle. It clearly broke at some point, and you know, damn, this is the fate. This is the fate of all clear plastic toys, unfortunately. And yeah, just as a reminder, you know, even if you're careful, even if you take care of your stuff, sometimes this is going to happen, and there's not always something you can do about it, you know. Now, if I'm lucky, I might be able to just kind of wedge it back in the place right there, and Roboto will be fine for a little bit longer. If this, yeah, okay, now I can just take it off and on at will. When this happened last night, I put it back on, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna monkey around with it, but yeah, if this gets any worse, I'm just gonna have to glue it on there, and then this Roboto will just be a shelf jockey for the rest of its life, you know. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, is that gonna happen to this guy? Is that gonna happen to this guy? I still have my original Roboto from when I was a kid, you know, the original Masters of the Universe figure, the original 5-inch figure, and the gears are stripped on that one, but the clear plastic so far is fine. I can't get it at the moment because it's so far packed into storage, I can't get to it as easily. But you know, maybe I'm just lucky with that one, but you know, this is the unfortunate truth about any toy with clear plastic. It's not going to last forever. And you know, I just want to talk about that real quick, just as a sidebar, as a side note. Doesn't matter how careful you are, it could still happen at any moment. And I'm just gonna, you know, admire this thing and, you know, enjoy it, and then, you know, it'll probably happen to him one of these days. Anyway, you know, that's all I gotta say about that. Now, real quick, I just wanted to talk about Roboto's gun. And this is what the original blaster looked like compared to the new Eternia version of Roboto. And you can see the basic shape is there. You know, you got the little clip hanging down there. You got this thing coming down at an angle. You got the fin right there. You got that little handle thing kind of swooped up like that. So, you know, Mattel took this design and just kind of streamlined it a little bit. Kept the very, very basic shape and just did something different, which that's, you know, this isn't bad. I think I still like this better, but this is kind of cool. This is new. It's fun. I dig it. I accept it. It's perfectly fine with me. But, you know, some updates are necessary. Some updates are welcome, and you still have the core look of Roboto. You still got the core design right there. I know what I'm looking at. You know, even though maybe one or two of his weapons might be slightly different, I know who I'm looking at here. And these subtle updates are definitely welcome. At the end of the day, I think the new Eternia Roboto is a good figure. He poses well, he has some neat accessories, got some good sculpting details, he appears to be solid, and I suppose that's my real concern of the toy. It's the long-term duration of the clear plastic. I guess I'll find out in about 12 years if he's going to go the way of my classics Roboto. Who's to say? Anywho, this has been a fun video to make. Now that we're already well into December, I probably should be slowing things down for the next couple of weeks. Christmas time is a busy time for me, and I'll be needing to take a break from completing upcoming videos for a little bit. I might have a few shorts here and there, but otherwise, long-form videos and such that I'm working on will just have to wait till after the new year. Well, thanks for watching. Please, leave a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think of new Eternia Roboto. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. Well, I'm JimClassic. You have been watching Geekin' It, and take care, everybody.